Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom. I'm a full-time eBay reseller and a stay-at-home dad for my 6 kids. And today we've got a whole bunch of what solds over a handful of days, and then we're going to hit Goodwill and find all kinds of cool stuff. Did fairly well. So stick around to the second half of the video if you want to see that, or you can skip ahead to this point and we'll catch you at the end. All right, guys, yesterday was not great. $100 in sales, and I shipped one of the items yesterday on the what sold, so I've only got 3 items to ship today. These are Vinylmation, and you can see I paid $3 at a yard sale when I first discovered that Vinylmations were even a thing. And so these I held for 18 months, and they ended up selling for $7 plus shipping. So I didn't make money, but that is not what winning looks like. Vinylmations are these, they all have Mickey ears. They are these little vinyl figures that are just really neat little art things. We're like competing with Funko Pop kind of thing, and they're really not worth much anymore, but they were popular for a little while. You guys were with me the other day when I picked up these $4 boots. They're alpine hiking boots, and they are Colorado by Kenny. I don't know if I can make you see that or not. Anyway, those sold for $48 free shipping, I think. And this, if you're not familiar with Mickey's PhilharMagic, this is one of our family's very favorite things, but this bag is just beat. We picked it up at a thrift store in Orlando for like $1, and I had it listed for a long time, and it sold, and I couldn't find it. So I canceled the order with the customer, and yesterday I found it, and it had been like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and I messaged them and said, hey, are you still interested? I'm going to relist this super high or best offer, and you just send me an offer of whatever you're comfortable with. And they sent me $9, which is what they bought it for before, and they paid a day later, and here we go. That's the 3 orders that I have to ship today. We're going to have to get some work done on a Saturday to correct that, because I can't get 3 orders and $100 a day. Doesn't cut it. So I have this whole box of t-shirts, which was stuff that I was running on Whatnot, and I'm going to take pictures of those. And then out in the store, and so many PlayStation 1 consoles out here that I really need to get to. And every single inch of this red is filled with untested PlayStation controllers, PS1 and PS2, probably mostly PS1. All right, well, the weekend was pretty uneventful, essentially. We hung out with some family. We watched the Chiefs win, but I couldn't figure out how to watch the Niners game without paying $75. We only had 2 things sell overnight. There was a handful of things from inside. You guys saw I was talking about doing those PS1s. And then I found the Aldi bag that was totally full of games and another box that had a bunch of games in it. So I ended up making lots, and you'll see a bunch of that stuff sold. This we picked up in Washington the other day. Really nice condition, vintage, golden retriever t-shirt. Sold for, we paid less than $4 for it, whatever it was. And then it sold for $17.99 free shipping. And then on the other end of the spectrum, this is a vintage flower pot, fairly large vintage flower pot. It is fiberglass. It's been painted. It's cracked. Like, you can see daylight through the bottom of it right there. That one's not daylight. But if you look real close, and I don't know if I can make it come in, it is marked Kimball on the bottom. And it has the original stand. This is called a bullet planter, and it is very mid-century modern iconic. If this was in good shape, it would be several $100s. I saw it sitting in somebody's yard at a garage sale, and I was like, is that for sale or is that yard decoration? And he's like, no, it's definitely for sale. How much? $10. Okay. So I took it home, and I thought about cleaning it up, and then I decided I will let the person who buys it clean it up. Listed it for $150 free shipping, and it's been around about 6 months. But then I got a $110 offer today. It's going to Delaware, probably going overseas because of the town that it's going to in Delaware, to a buyer who used a freight forwarder. So at $110, I'll figure out. I'll tell you guys what it costs me to ship this, but it won't be a lot, and I'm only in it for 10 bucks. And we sold two things overnight. That one is old beat to death junk that I've had for 6 months. And the other one is a nice condition shirt that I've had for 3 days. A lot of the other things that are sold are already packed up. This box is 3 boxes taped together. And it's a lot of 24 PlayStation 2 games. One of which is worth 25 bucks and the rest are just kind of filler junk. And they sold for $100 free shipping. This bag is a big win for Mrs. Mod and Pop Thrift. There are 4 shirts in here. They were all four the same fire resistant new with tag shirt that I bought for $5.99 a piece. And I listed them for like $27.99, and she was going through helping me do takedown and relist, and she comped those, and she's like, Tom, these would sell at $19.99, but they're not going to sell at $25 plus shipping. And so she marked them down to $19.99, and all 4 sold to the same buyer. Or the buyer paid like $8 shipping for all of them, and they paid right away. And those had been sitting for 6 months without selling. She did enough research to figure out how to get them to sell real quick, and buyers all in at like 85 bucks. And we're in, I mean, at 6 bucks, 6 times 4 is, we're in at 25, and buyers in at 80, and it'll probably cost me 12 to ship. So put me at 36. So we're doubling our money. But I listed them too high and they didn't sell, and she listed them at the right price and they sold all to the same buyer right away. A lot of GameCube games. These are both Disney GameCube games. And inside this case, there's a couple of loose games and a manual for a game that isn't here. I'm literally just bulking these games out by system to get quality listings and sales. Like, neither of those games would have been, and none of that would have been worth listing by itself, but I put it all together and it sold for like $14 free shipping, which is worth taking 3 or 4 pictures and sending them off. But each of those games at $4 plus shipping wouldn't have been worth the time it takes. So bulking them out. This Spyro the Dragon greatest hits, as opposed to the black label, sold for $12.99 free shipping. But it'll be about as easy as it can possibly be. Found a good pile of vacuum tubes just in the bag with the video games. I put them all together. They were worth quite a bit if I had them tested and stuff, but I just put them all together untested and listed them for something cheap, and they sold real quick. $12 plus shipping. One of the PlayStation 3 games that this is Grand Theft Auto 4. Worth probably $17, $18. I listed it for $14 free shipping, and it sold in minutes. This is a blender I paid $4.50 or $5 for, and it was listed for about a week and a half and sold for $57, I think, free shipping. This lot of PS3 and PS4 games looks like it's pretty good at first blush, but this game isn't in there. It's just the case. And these are like startup discs, and this is sealed and worth like $5. And this is disc only, and it's a fishing game. So none of that has any value by itself, but I threw it into the lot to get rid of it without throwing it away. And those games sold for $22, free shipping. And I got those from a buddy who gave me a whole bunch of stuff. And some of them came from the retro truckload. So that I have nothing into any of them. And if they can do somebody, even a game store who can double their money, if somebody can do something with them, that's fantastic, and I make a little bit of money. And that is the actual everything that sold today. You guys can probably hear Ruby talking in the background. I'm going to go see what she's hollering about, and then we're going to get this stuff packed. So I've said for a long time, this Goodwill that I've been going to on most of my videos is shorthanded on the weekends. They get a lot of weekend donations, and then Monday morning they start processing those donations, and Monday late morning, early afternoon is the best time to be there, because the carts that have the goods are coming out generally from people who are just pricing stuff to get as much out as they can and not looking up every single item, that kind of thing. Monday, late morning, early afternoon is the time to be at this store, and I haven't been doing that. And also my other places, Church Mouse, Restore, Helping Hands, all closed on Mondays. So Goodwill's kind of the only option, even in a town as big as Peoria, for thrifting on a Monday. So I mean, I could go to places in the adjacent towns, but I don't like to drive more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time, just because I just don't have the extra time to put into what if it's a bust, it's not the place that I normally go. So anyway, we're going back to the regular Goodwill because I think that it is worth doing on a Monday early afternoon, and we're gonna continue to try to make it work until it becomes real obvious that it doesn't work, because it's so convenient. So anyway, we're gonna jump into this Goodwill as soon as I get there and try to make some money today on what has traditionally been a very lucrative day. So I got a bunch of hats, and they look like probably decent ones, but they're $7 a piece. They'd have to be pretty intense bangers. Look at the pants, all those same brown pants. To be worth picking up for $7 a piece, they'd have to be pretty special. So see, I'm just walking in the door, and there's 3 new clothing racks, and then the Wake Baby. You gonna smile at people? Nope. So $11 is a little bit of a markup, $10.99 for these, but they are Carhartt. They're in excellent condition, and the main thing that makes them a get is this hem and that hem makes them double knee. Let's look at the hats and see if they slip on any good ones, because I get the feeling with hats like that, they just arbitrarily mark things up. There wasn't anything good in the hats. This Bridges of Madison County thing, $5.44 for a women's vintage. Hopefully these aren't way overpriced. They're not. $7.88 for real work, newer tag overalls. We're gonna put them in the cart anyway. Last time we found a keyboard at Goodwill, it was real good. This is also a Casio, and it's only $5, but this would be a female dog to ship. Let's see if it's worth a fortune. Let's forget the keyboard for a minute. This is an icon. 811. God bless America. I don't want to. I feel like I should. Well, I guess I was wrong. This is not worth as much. There's 85 listed and only 6 sold in this model, so that makes a lot of difference. It might be $100 if you could get it to sell at all, but with 85 listed and 6 sold, I doubt you'd get it to sell anytime soon. So the Casio CTK710 is not necessarily worth messing with, but I did find these Burton boots. They're $15, so I'm gonna look them up, but they're probably good. And then this I have done well with before at $310. I'm gonna comp that. And then down on the bottom of this card is a Denton DCM 370. So on the Denton, there are like 65 listed and 32 sold, and then I looked through what's sold, and it's almost entirely just the remote for the thing. So the console itself isn't worth much. How about a Poang for $25? That's a good price for that. If it had the auto in it, would be way better. I like this for $8.11. It's missing a branch, but it's cool. It's better looking than just your traditional regular. I had a comment that I wanted to speak to. Somebody said, well, Goodwill has recently gotten a mandate from on high that says they need to be sending everything to their distribution centers for sale online, which is not untrue, but also like that's been a thing for a long time. So if you're not finding stuff now, it isn't necessarily because of that, because that's been a thing. They've been supposed to. Also, there isn't a lot of central government in Goodwills. Like Walmart has a headquarters in Bentonville, Arkansas, and Menards is headquartered in by one guy in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Goodwill doesn't have that, so not really. But they have always had online distribution. It's been growing a little bit, but it's not like this some new thing that we need to all of a sudden 2024. There's not going to be anything left in the stores. But my store is struggling. This is a type of shoe that I generally look at, a hard leather sole ankle zip up boot. They can do really well in a couple of brands, Floorshine being one. This is a Bostonian, but they're only about 25% sell-through rate. So those are not worth getting, but they are worth picking up to comp because sometimes they do really well. Somebody killed these Air Force Ones. My wife and I listened to this album 400,000 times when we were dating, and that is a bootleg, not real copy of it. And it's a double album, and yeah, no, that's too bad. I was kind of excited to see that, but I mean, memories are still there, but this is junk. How about these? They're a little bit worn, but that's good with Carhartt. And at $7, these are $36.30. These might be worth the get. So these Burton have about a 200% sell-through rate as a general idea. The imprint, oh, that's a 1, not a 2, now that I'm holding it up. But the imprints there's like 80 listed and 150 sold or something, but then you look up the women's 8.5 that this one is, and there are 0 listed and 6 sold. This is a decent piece, Pro Players, but at $20, it's not worth picking up. This is something to look out for. Genuine Dickies is Walmart Dickies. So the resale value on a Walmart Dickies shirt is going to be much lower than, ooh, I think we found something. Much lower than the resale value on a like made in the US vintage Dickies men's workwear kind of thing. That is a vintage Woolrich chamois shirt, probably $25 for $5.44. Okay, so this piece, I don't know, I'm on the fence about. It's a nice sweater, but then look at the label. Gimbals. It's vintage, made in Taiwan. Gimbals doesn't exist anymore, but you know who worked there? Buddy the Elf. Buddy the Elf worked at Gimbals. This 3-stripe Adidas would be really good at $9.18, except it's not real. So the Woolrich, there's 185 listed, but 155 sold, so that's close enough. I don't think I showed you guys these. This one is $9.15 Victory. It just looks like a high quality build for a shirt. It's 3X, I think. Yeah, and it's a nice pattern, so I'm gonna look that up. It looks like it's not Dixon, but it looks like it's inspired. So I just brought a new card out, and blue Omnivision Blue Line Panasonic for $5.60. That's a good price. I'm gonna take it home and find out if it works. $10. I don't know anything about this soundbar, but it's a Sanyo at $11. There's the model number. Again, a piece with a ridiculously low sell-through rate, and everything that is sold is the remote and not the piece itself. And there's 92 of these listed, and there are 350 sold. So that's between 3 and 4 selling a day, and there's only enough listings for like 25 days or something. So the Victory flannel feels a little bit like a gamble because there's no sales velocity. There's 0 listed and 1 sold, which is a great sell-through rate, I guess, but no one is listing them and no one is buying them. This is a really good buffalo check, like 2-pocket. This is a really nice piece, but the tag's cut out of it, and I absolutely can't figure out who made it. So what I did was I went into this tag right here and I researched that RN number, which is not the piece itself. It's not a model number, but it does tell me that that RN number belongs to Faded Glory, which makes this a Walmart thing. And that kind of checks out. So I'm going to leave this one behind. So about $5. And I checked these. They are actually what's in there. 2 mud flaps, WeatherTech, and they look new, and they've got exactly 100% sell-through rate. It should sell for like 50 bucks. The overalls are not great, but I think I'm going to gamble on them anyway. Let's look at these hair curlers. It's important to make sure that the curlers are there and that these clips are there. So KF20N. I would say I'm having a better day than I've had in this store in a long time. And then I come across these and they're interesting, but I don't know. PFG fishing gear, Columbia. They're 10 bucks. Omni Shade zip-aways. They're size 50. Omni Shade 5230. I mean, big guys need pants. I'm a big guy, but I just don't know how much they're gonna sell for. 52, 10 bucks. These are not PFGs. I'm definitely not gonna bother with the ones that aren't, but there's 4 40 bucks. So I think I'm skipping the Bad Leroy Brown. I think I'm skipping the Omni Shades because the research just isn't good on them. I can't, like they're 50p SPF, like sun protection, and so it's really hard to determine how many size 50s there are. And at 10 bucks, maybe they're 25 plus shipping, which wouldn't be terrible. But if I could figure it out faster, if eBay didn't screw up their search results to make everything show up, that would help. These are fun, $1.84, just some golf head face covers. So these have about a 50% sell-through rate and should sell for like 30 bucks. But the kicker is so many of them are listed just the rollers or just the clips. And the whole setup has a much better sell-through rate. So you really have to dig into and not just trust this number and that number equal the way that a lot of people tell you to. So these are the $7 hats. And they're not terrible, but these are like fitted. They're fairly common, but they're in really nice shape. And so I can't blame them for marking them up a little bit. These ones are $5.80, and they're pretty cool. These are the gets for me. That's $7. That Mitchell & Ness script reprint. It's a cool hat. Even it's probably a keep. And then this cool newest tag I'm gonna check. All right, so changed my hat because I really like this one. $92. $92 and a baby. And I think I did really, really well. I think I'll get my money back when the VCR and the floor mats sell, and they should be really quick sales. And then everything else will be gravy, baby. Double knee corduroys or Carhartts, vintage chamois, Woolrich, Victory, motorcycles flannel, regular relax fit, Carhartts, 2 pairs of real work bibs, the head covers, the curlers, the boots, the VCR, assuming that it works, and the mud flaps. So there's my anticipated total of just listed quantity. We'll add the hat in case I decide to sell it. I may. So Goodwill isn't over. eBay isn't over. It takes a strategy. And today I played the game the way that it has worked before, and it worked again. So I'm just gonna have to do what I know works and stop just randomly trying this place. Or at least stop anticipating that I'm gonna do really well when I just kind of randomly show up. Monday, between 11 and 2 is a good time to be here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. Helps the channel out tremendously. We'll see you on the next one.